welcome to my channel. So today I'm talking about a new series that's streaming now on Netflix called Three Body Problem. It's fairly new. It came out about 2 weeks ago. I wasn't planning on talking about it because my plan on watching the show is that I didn't want to binge. There's 8 episodes and they're almost an hour each, about, I want to say 15 minutes each episode. I was trying to do 1 episode a day. The show, the way it ended, left such a void inside of me that now I still want to talk about it, and hopefully in the comment section we can have discussions, because I wasn't aware of the book that the show is based on. It's by a Chinese author whose name I can't recall right now, but you can look it up. And there's also, if you want to, if you really love Three Body Problem on Netflix and you want to keep the journey going, there's on Amazon Prime, there's another series, and I think they're like 30 episodes. I was very invested on the show, and the way it ended, I think I was in the last episode, and the way things were going, I was like, there's no way they're gonna tie everything up in like 30 minutes. There's no way. The way it ended, I was like, really, Netflix? Come on. Oh, by the way, Three Body Problems, the showrunners, D&D, it's like it's David and DB. They are the same guys that brought you Game of Thrones. Just keep that in mind. But yeah, the way it ended, I was like, Netflix, you better put a rush on season 2. Because if they don't do a season 2, what a waste of our time and what a waste of money for Netflix, because each episode of Three Body Problem cost $20 million. It shows. This series was beautiful to look at. It was very glossy. The VFX were on point. Another reason why I'm like a little bit late is that I watched, it's on YouTube, after every episode, there's an inside the episode. And if you know me, I love backstage, making of, how they did this and that, interviews. I love that type of stuff. So after every episode, I went on YouTube and then I watched the behind the episode. It was very interesting. And speaking of VFX, the VR set that they use looks so cool, right? Something that you see like out of Met Gala. Because it's a mirror thing, if they're shooting the actor or the actress right in their face, you would see the camera. And so the VFX team had not only to like erase the mirror, the image that the mirror is projecting, but they also had to, make everything like in details what the VR set was facing. It had to mimic that. The episode where they slice that ship with the nanofibers, that was intense. I was not expecting that. That was like the red wedding of Three Body Problem. So you don't hire the showrunners from Game of Thrones to not go all the way and finish the job. So that's why I have hopes that there will be a season 2, because I saw an interview with them and they mentioned that they want to do 4 seasons. But Netflix is famous for canceling shows like out of nowhere with, shows that ended in cliffhangers. I thought that Three Body Problem had such an interesting story, and I really appreciate the fact that they gave away the mystery right away. We didn't have to guess, oh, is this God? Is this another country? Is this, politics? They're like, nope. I think it was by episode 2 or episode 3. They're like, nope, it's just the aliens trying to conquer us. Well, first they tried to coexist, and then they went to like conquer it. And we'll get to the reason for that in a second. So the Senti, who are the aliens, they're coming to, conquer Earth. But they can only do it in about 400 years because they're so behind on their technology. And the show raises a very interesting question, between the doctors and the physicists. That's such a tough word, physicists. When they're talking, why should we care? It's going to be in 400 years. We're not going to be here. My child's not going to be here. My child's children are not going to be here. It got me thinking about like climate change, because there's a lot of people that are like, why should I care about climate change? By the time that it really affects the planet, I'm not going to be here. My kid's not going to be here. But if you think about it, we don't have to wait 400 years for the sentient to affect us. They're already affecting us. You know, they're having the physicists kill themselves. They're erasing security footage. They're making people see countdowns. And it's funny because as I was watching the episodes this week, I went to Trader Joe's and their credit card system was down. First it was really slow and then it was down. And I was like, oh, it's okay. I'll just go to Ralph's because it's across the street. So I went to Ralph's, credit card system down. That same day, I had a Zoom call, and then the person that I was having the Zoom call with went black, and I was like, hello, are you still there? And I could only hear it. And then she tried to come back, and she's like, it says you're offline. I was like, no, I'm not offline. I'm here. So we were having technical issues, and I was like, what is going on today? And then I thought about the Baltimore Bridge that collapsed, that big ship hit, and the ship hit because it lost control. It had lost power, and then it caused the bridge to collapse. That was insane, like, to see. Is this the Santee already acting, you know, little by little in our lives? And remember that big balloon that was flying over the U.S., was over Montana, I think, and it flew over the U.S. for about like a week until the U.S. shut it down, and they found out it was like from China, that they were spying on us. And I was like, was it really China or was it the Santee? And speaking of the physicists dying and, you know, killing themselves, isn't it interesting that Winning Ye, I think she's the one that should not have replied to the text. Listen, boys and girls, do not reply to the text if they say, don't reply, don't reply, don't reply. We're coming to conquer you. And she's like, reply. In the first episode, we see her dad, who's a doctor, getting killed by fanatics. Isn't it interesting that his daughter, she became a fanatic herself, you know, because we go from 1977 to 2024, and her as an older lady, she's basically like a cult leader. Speaking of cults and fanatics, one of them is a girl named Tatiana. I have a question for you that are watching or read the book. How did Tatiana kill Rooney? Was it Jack? Yeah, Jack. This like little small woman goes to his house, grabs him by the neck, cracks the window, and then like stabs him in the neck. How did she do that? She's so small. She couldn't like grab him by that force. Was it the Santee? Like, do they have that power to infiltrate someone's body and give them like physical powers? Because that part I didn't find very believable. The last two episodes were the weakest ones for me. Like they drag quite a bit. And of course, everyone's favorite episode is going to be episode 5, which was the slicing of the ship and the people inside by the nanofibers. It was intense and I was not expecting. But why go through all that trouble of killing women and children when you could have just take over the ship? I don't know, make them hostage? If all you wanted was a hard drive, they didn't even think, what if the nanofibers is sliced through the hard drive? What are you gonna do? Huh? I know some people would say that the nanofibers are so thin that if it's sliced through the hard drive, it will be such a thin cut that you could still put it back together. But when the slicing is happening, things like go different ways. And you saw when Augie was walking through the havoc, you know, the destruction of the ship, everything was like a mess. How would you find 2 pieces of a hard drive? The only reason they found it is because Evans, he was holding on to it, and that was very stupid of him. He should have just like tossed the hard drive away. The show gave me a lot of Oppenheimer vibes when Wade tells Augie, after, you know, she created the nanofibers and basically, you know, killed all those people. When he tells her, great job, the look on her face reminded me of Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer when he's doing that press conference. and people are applauding him, you know, but that's why he was an Oscar winner, because the look on his face is just like, man, I created something that it's like genius and it could change the world, but it was used for bad. It was used for mass destruction. So Augie had the same look on her face. She's like, man, I created this that could change the world, but it was used to kill people. And I heard that they split the main character from the books, supposed to be one guy. They split him into the Oxford Five, which are our five main characters. And I think that was a mistake. I get that you want to add a little bit of romance here, a little bit of bromance there, but that affects the pacing of the show. Like the whole Saul and Augie, will they, won't they? Speaking of unnecessary, we all know that Asa Gonzalez is hot, right? And she gave an interview saying that she has trouble finding roles that she's not the hot one. So she was happy that this one, she's like, I'm a scientist, you know, they dressed me up in, you know, in normal clothes. Even though they dressed up in mom jeans and gave her that awful wig, they still had to put her in her underwear where she was, you know, puking the toilet. You know, you see her in her panties and her bra. And I was like, really, was this necessary? We know Asa Gonzalez, she's gorgeous. Like, I didn't need that scene. And she was just praising the show for not picking her as the hot one. Also, Will. Some parts of Will's story, I wanted to fast forward. And then when Saul almost became a wall facer, if he said, I don't want to be a wall facer, or what was he saying? I'm not a wall facer. I didn't take the job. I'm not a wall facer. At one point I said, if he says he's not a wall facer one more time, I'm going to lose it. He goes to the cemetery to meet Ye. And Ye, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. She tells him a joke about Einstein going to heaven and playing the violin for God. And then at the end she says, don't play with God. I think that joke has a bigger meaning. I don't know what meaning, but I think there's a bigger meaning, because she said, you're the smartest one. There's a reason why you were picked to be a wall facer. And then she said something, I hope my joke didn't get you into trouble. And right after that, he almost got killed. You know, he almost got shot, and then he almost got run over by a car. So when she said, I hope my joke didn't get you into trouble, I'm like, And now let's talk about the reason why the Senti don't want to coexist with us anymore. They want to conquer us. And it was such a simple reason, but it was so genius, I thought. It was because of the fact that humans, we are liars. We lie. And how did that happen? Stupid ass Mike Evans is reading a fairy tale, Red Riding Hood, about the bad wolf to the Lord. The Lord says, so he's a liar, talking about the wolf. And Mike Evans said, yeah, he's a liar. But he was trying to tell her, you know, this is just a fairy tale. It's not real. And Lord said, so you write lies about liars? Oh, and that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. The Lord said, we cannot exist with liars because they don't have the capability to lie. Because lying is inconceivable to the Senti, they see humans as a threat. It was so simple. And stupid Evans, the Lord asked him, do you lie? And he said, well, I don't want to, but yeah, sometimes, you know, sometimes I lie. And she's like, clink, hung up on him, totally hung up on him. He's saying that, yeah, I don't want to lie, when he should have told a lie. Sometimes a little white lie, it's okay. He chose poorly. He messed up. He threw humanity under the bus. It was so funny when Jonathan Price was like, my lord, my lord, my lord, are you still there? And then Will, so sweet, bought the girl a $19 million star. If somebody bought me a $19 million star, I would crack that frame in their heads. Give me a gift card for $19 million, you crazy person. What I think will happen with Will, because I thought it was really interesting that he did not sign that loyalty agreement that Wade was trying to get him to sign for him to be loyal to humans, because you never know when he goes and meets the Sentee, he's going to be loyal to them. And Will said he cannot sign that loyalty agreement. What I think is that the Sentee will find his brain, will put his body back together or put him in another body. They'll basically like save him. They're going to cure his cancer. Well, no, now that I'm thinking, the cancer is in the body, not in the brain. Duh. But I think will be saved. I know that a lot of people who are fans of the book are going to be extra critical of the show. Trust me, I've been there. There are plenty of books that I read that would turn into movies or series. They would never do justice. The books are always going to be better. Minus Harry Potter. Harry Potter was like super close to being like perfect, you know, to the books. I don't think there's one fan of the Harry Potter books that didn't like the movies. That was like magical. So these were my thoughts on Three Body Problem streaming on Netflix. What did you think of the show? Did you like it as a non-book reader? And if you did read the books, do you think, is this a fair question even to ask? Do you think it did justice to the books? You know what to do. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit that thanks button if you can, and I'll see you next time.